This is a free website strategy session done in the open on a real Kiwi business who has volunteered. The idea here being that you can take these lessons, these tips and tricks, and apply them to your own business. I want to thank Roy from Nielsen Contracting, who has put his hand up to have his website roasted in the most friendly and productive kind of way. So, my name's Sean. I run a business called SK Digital, and I obsess over finding ways to make a website and your digital presence more effective. Because essentially, this is a salesman that never sleeps, and we want to get the most out of that. So I've got a little list here that I'm going to work through. And yeah, the idea here is that we're not focusing on all the nitty gritty details. We're focusing on the easy shit that a busy New Zealand operator could actually implement on their website and for their digital presence. With Nielsen Contracting, these guys, which is a small Hamilton team, I believe it's a husband and wife team, they are suffering from this first impression of their website just being a wee bit too busy and not actually showing the people behind the business. Like, the first thing I want to know here is, if you're a small business and it's a husband and wife team, show me the people behind it. And so the reason I know that this is a husband and wife team is because it's mentioned here right at the top of their Facebook page. Now, Kiwis really appreciate a family-run business and ones that feel really approachable. And I think that a lot of Kiwis also shy away from the fact that we need to have photos of the people in the business on the website. And so that's something that is really lacking here on this website, is that there is no faces to connect to this business. Even on the About page, it would be great just to see some photos of the team. So you got to put yourself in the shoes of a client who might not know you. You're going to be coming on site and you're going to be coming potentially onto their property and completing a job. It will add so much trust if they know what you look like and they see a friendly face on your website. And this goes for your entire kind of digital presence. Lean into the fact that you're a family business and that you are the friendly faces behind this business. I think it's spoken about here on your homepage. Small team, you deal directly with us, no middleman. We need to lean into that a little bit more here and show who the small team is. That's really important. That's one of your main kind of credibility factors for a business like this that turns up to people's places and does a job, is just showing who you are. So getting those real photos is really, really important here. There is a wealth of photos here on your Facebook as well of you guys completing a bunch of different jobs as well as videos. But again, nothing of the actual team. One thing that I notice really, really often is that the moment you chuck up a post of the team on Facebook page, it'll be one of the posts that gets the most engagement. So yeah, I think it's really, really important. I'm going to preach on to Matt a little bit with this business here. Some other bits that give you quite a lot of credibility are your Google business profile, which this business has set up. So fantastic work there. What I'd recommend is that we bump these numbers up. We get a few more Google reviews. So these Google reviews are so important, not just for people to look through and go, yep, they do a great job, but it also helps you be found in Google more. So I can see one here from 3 months. You're doing a great job at actually replying to the reviews as well. One from a year ago with a photo. So people look like they're leaving these reviews just because they want to, which shows that you do a really good job. There's a more recent one here a month ago, but I would seek out these reviews more actively. And then once you've got these reviews, you can pull them through directly to your website so that you can actually have the live reviews updated on your website. That's quite a simple thing to do. And it means that every time you get new reviews, they're also on your website. To get more reviews, the simplest way to do that is to log on or to type in your business name here and make sure you're in the Google account that has access to it. And then instead of write a review, this button will say get more reviews, and it'll actually generate a direct link for someone to leave you a review. And then send that out to all your past clients, everyone that you've worked with, and say that you need more reviews. Just be upfront. And if you can get 20 or 30 of these Google reviews, it'll make such a massive difference to your local visibility. So when I say local visibility, I mean when somebody is looking for contracting services in Hamilton or the Waikato, and Google's trying to find the best person to match, the best business to match to that search, it's probably going to choose one that has more Google reviews over less. So if you've got more reviews than your competitor, you have a higher chance of appearing in Google search results. So they're really, really important to get these Google reviews. I cannot stress that enough. Then alongside having some human faces on this website would go a really long way. And yeah, it's all stuff that adds to your credibility. Another thing that you guys do really well is that you do document quite a few of your jobs that you're completing on your Facebook page. So this is fantastic. You're very active on here. I would be using this content on your website as well. So whenever you're doing a job that's a specific kind of side cut, driveway, anything you're doing within one of these main services that you offer, if you're updating it on your Facebook page, it's also a chance to update it on your website as well. So you might have a projects gallery here that showcases all of your main type of work that you do. And so you've got listed here house sites and site preparation, rural contracting, and driveways. These might be your 3 pillars of services. I would then create a projects gallery that is ordered in this way as well. So if you've got, say, 10 or 20 different house site and shed preparation jobs that you can document, put them on your website and tag them as house site and shed preparation. Make it really clear, like lay it out that this is a service you provide and here are 10 examples of you providing that service. The same goes for these other 2. The reason we want to do that is, again, to make it really clear to the viewer your experience in that service, but also to paint a very clear picture to Google, who's trying to understand, how many runs have you got on the board here? You, the business that Google should push forward to the surface when somebody is looking for one of the services you offer. So if you can show all of this proof, which you already have because you've done the work, but if you can just show it on your website more, Google will pick that up and go, well, this guy has 10 examples of him doing this specific type of work, and this guy over here has just Googled that same thing. We may as well show Nielsen Contracting as a response to that search. So it's a very simplified way of looking at it, but basically we want to stack the odds that you are, in fact, the right provider for the job. So your findability on Google is directly related to how well we set up a website. And so the more clear we can make it as to the type of services you offer, who they're for, where you did them, and what makes you different, the better. So another thing I can definitely find that is impacting your website performance is just how many pages on your website are actually indexed in Google. So this little search here, when you go, if you just type in site : and then your URL, you get to see all the pages of your website that are actually within Google. So these 5 are the only pages that can appear in Google search results. So you don't have much surface area there, if that makes sense. You don't have much opportunity to appear for that many searches. So I've done a few searches here just to show you what that looks like. So when you type in house site preparation Waikato, you appear very near the top. So that's fantastic. You're appearing number 2 there, because when we look at this list here, we can see that you've got those words in that title tag there. So that's great. But then if you went and typed in house site preparation Hamilton, you don't appear anywhere on this search, and we're just buried down there in page 2. Now, the reason for that is pretty simple. I mean, if we look at all the pages that are indexed, it's just Waikato, just got the word Waikato in there, where a lot of your customers are searching by the word Hamilton, or even think about people that are in Te Aomuru or Cambridge, all the places in between. You don't have much chance to appear really high for those searches because you use the word Waikato in all of these. What I would suggest is that we have a bit of variation here, where we create new pages that are specific to Hamilton. We show some of the work that you've done in Hamilton, and we put your title tag, which is what this is, as excavator and digger hire Hamilton, or house site preparation Hamilton. So that when somebody makes a search like this, you don't appear on page 2, you're more likely to appear on page 1. And that's made even more likely if you have examples of you doing that actual work that you can reference, and a bunch of testimonials. So this here is really important. It shows that your website probably lacks a bit of what we call SEO, which is search engine optimization. But there's some really easy stuff we can do here because you have the proof of the work. So it's really hard to take a business that doesn't have any track record, that doesn't have any, evidence of them doing the work and, fake it where you've actually done the work here. And so we just need to show the work more and correctly organize it. And what you'll find is that your website will just be more findable locally. So if somebody is in the Waikato, in Hamilton, or in Matamata, in Te Awamutu, in Cambridge, or wherever else, and you've done work in those regions and you document it, you'll start appearing for those type of searches. So it's one of the most important things for local SEO. So next on my little list here is mobile performance. So a good way of addressing mobile performance. I'm just going to bring it up on the screen here. I'm going to narrow this down. Now you're going to see a lovely photo of me and my fiance in the background there. But this essentially is how your website looks on mobile. So I'm going to go back to the home page there. Now, in truth, this is the first time I'm looking at it on mobile. And I would say mobile, it actually appears a little bit cleaner than what it does on desktop. Often on these website builders, you can include a little button up in the corner here, in this right-hand corner, that is like a tap to call button, so people can just directly call you. So I would recommend you do that. But for the most part, this is all right. I really don't like these icons here. I don't think that this does your business justice. This feels a little bit cheap. I think that we can put some real photos of you doing the work, doing each of these services, and have that, just have real photos on this page here and have them link through to their own pages. But for the most part, the mobile view is okay. This is a really good touch down the bottom here, Roy. Having you with your signature, your words in here. This is fantastic. I really like that. And if only we had a photo of you as well, that would have really topped it off. Yeah, one thing to note with these here is these 6 buttons all go through to the service pages, but these aren't reflected in the drop down here. So we've got 6 buttons that sit on the home page here that, like I mentioned, these should be photos as opposed to these icons. These all go through to the service pages. That's then reflected in these sections here, but not in the drop down. So these pages, these services have their own dedicated pages, but these ones don't. Now, it's best practice for your findability online to have every one of these be their own page and have them very well organized so that not only does a visitor understand your website more, but also Google understands your website more. So when we look at like the wider footprint of this business, there's actually a lot that's done well. So like I mentioned, we've got the Google business profile, which is fantastic. We just need to get more Google reviews there. We've got the Facebook page, which is very, very active, which is great. Again, keep on just showing the work that you're doing and like quick descriptions of each, and then reusing those descriptions as potential content for your website to add to projects, to document your projects. You've also got a YouTube channel here, which has some video that is underutilized on your website. So we can actually see what you look like on here, Roy, which is fantastic. But these videos can be used on your website. So get these up. These are fantastic. This actually shows you doing the work. And I mean, you've taken the time to actually film this stuff. And this here does more work than any photo could. And it gives people a vibe for what you're like as well. So this is really valuable content that can definitely be repurposed on your website. I believe you've also got we've got a TikTok page as well. We've got an Instagram. So we're across all those bases. That's great. The more we can systemize the content that you create, the better. So if you make a post on Facebook and you're updating your followers on the job that you're currently doing, you can then reuse that post for each other platform. So you can post it to Instagram, post something to TikTok. I would say TikTok is probably less important for your type of work, but still a way to reach a younger audience. Then we've got, this is a Google Maps listing, and we've got your YouTube. So obviously posting stuff to YouTube Shorts, you can even post images to YouTube. But then whatever you're posting on these platforms, you can also start to post on your website and start to document on your website. So I think that's part that part you guys are doing actually really quite well, is being across quite a few different, your wider footprint for your businesses is pretty decent. So on my little list here, I've got a question. Does this website reflect the business as it is today? And the answer to that is probably no. I think there is a little bit of a gap here from the way you guys operate in the real world, the way this business operates in the real world, to what is reflected here. I'd say that this is a pretty honest, hardworking business that actually just gets the bloody job done to a really high level, and that isn't the feeling I'm getting when I'm looking at this website. So there's a little bit of a disconnect that I want to close up there, and like I say, I want to see the people behind this business and connect to them a little bit more. So yeah, that's about it for me. It really does come down to humanizing this website and documenting the work that you're already doing, getting more Google reviews, utilizing your social media, utilizing your YouTube, and getting your website more easily found in Google by being a bit clearer and more explicit about these pages, creating pages for each of your core services, and create a page for house site preparation, Hamilton and Te Aumuru and so on. So you can make it really clear as to Google the type of services that you provide and where you provide them. The one last thing I would layer on here is that this is the type of business that can benefit quite a lot from Google Ads advertising. If we pluck out one of these specific services here, we ran a Google ad for it, the likelihood is that we would be able to get some decent leads through. Generally, when you have a service that is over, say, $500 or $1,000 to deliver, that is specific, that is in demand. People are looking for excavation and earthworks hire, site leveling and site preparation. Like, this is a service that is constantly needed in our society, and it costs, say, more than $500 or $1,000 to deliver. Then the likelihood is you can generally get Google Ads to work quite well for a service like this. So yeah, there's my website, Autopsy. I covered a lot of ground in this. Like I say, I'm still pretty new to this. Trying to organize all of this in a way that's quite easy to understand and absorb. But let me know your thoughts, and if you would like to have your website put forward for an autopsy, I'll leave a link in the bio. You can details, and I'll add you to the list. Cheers.